In today's video, we're going to be going over whether or not getting a Disneyland Magic Key annual pass is worth it. My suggestion for a family of 4 purchasing Magic Keys might surprise you. This is literally the 3rd time I'm trying to record this video, so I pray to the YouTube gods that this is going to be the final time I have to record this. As of the time of script writing, I was considering purchasing a Magic Key for myself, but as of the time of this recording, I have since purchased a Magic Key. At the end of this video, I will go over what type of Magic Key I purchased, but just be aware that some of the verbiage and tenses and general things like that might be a little off, and once again, it's because the script was written before I got a Magic Key when I was still considering it, and this video is being recorded after I've already purchased my Magic Key. Regardless of my already having purchased a Magic Key, I figure that this is still a pretty good video to make for us to talk about whether or not getting a Magic Key would be worth it or not. This video is going to be split into different sections. The first section is going to be a brief overview of the Magic Keys, how much they cost, as well as the amount of visits in order to break even on said cost. The second part of this video, we're going to go over which types of visitors would be best suited for which types of Magic Keys. And then finally, I'm going to have a very brief snippet of which Magic Key I purchased and why. Due to the length of this video and the fact that I already purchased my Magic Key, the third section of this video is actually going to be its own video, which I'm going to release later. In my first 2 iterations of this video, I found that it came out to be about a 20-minute video, so that last part, once again, we're cutting it out. We're just leaving the bare bones minimum information, and then it's going to be its own video. Please bear with me for a minute. I'm going to be looking off to the side over here because I'm going to be reading off of my script, which is on my computer over here. And the reason why I'm going to be reading this is because this is the verbiage directly from Disney. Before we get any further, the Magic Key program provides reservation-based admission to one or both of Disneyland Resort theme parks, where you will make memories visit after visit. Magic Key passes feature a variety of admission opportunities, pricing options, experiences, and saving on food, beverages, and merchandise. So, as I mentioned, that description is directly from Disney, and it's because they can describe this program much better than I ever could. That being said, aloha kako, my name is Toxie, and I am your typical broke Disney fan from Hawaii. Please let this be a reminder to drink some coffee, actually hydrate with water, and here we go. Section 1. Magic Key types, their cost, and how many visits you need in order to break even. There are several levels of Magic Keys, 4 to be exact. These keys are the Imagine Key, the Enchant Key, the Believe Key, and the Inspire Key. They do all range in cost. Of course, it starts off at $449 annually, all the way up to $1,599. Disney's Imagine Key is $449. This Magic Key is available exclusively to Southern California residents. If you purchase this Magic Key, you'll only need to visit 7 times before you break even on cost. Next, we have the Enchant Key at $699 annually. With this key, you need to visit the parks at least 9 times in order to break even. Disney's second to highest tier of Magic Key is the Believe Key. The Believe Key will run you $1,099 annually, and you will need to visit about 14 times per year in order to make it worth the cost. Disney's most expensive Magic Key is called the Inspire Key. The Inspire Key is $1,599 annually. This key is great because it has the least restrictions, but you do need to visit 20 or 21 times in order to break even on the cost of this. Of course, your break-even point will vary based on how often you visit, how long you visit, how much you shop, etc. It also depends on if you're planning on park hopping during your visit. In particular, with the Park Hopper add-on, if you're planning on park hopping each time you're visiting, and let's say you're visiting like 4 times, you can reduce the break-even point by about 3 to 4 visits. I didn't personally account for the Park Hopper option in my break-even point because there are so many variables that I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. As a disclaimer, as of the time of script writing, all of this information was accurate. And to the best of my knowledge, everything is accurate as of the time of this video being recorded. That being said, prices, availability, and policies are ever-changing, especially when it comes to Disney. Before we continue on to the next section of the video, and in this next section, we're going to be going over the types of Disney people to the type of Magic Key and which 2 would be the best pairing for you. Before we get to that section, If you love Disney as much as I do, please consider subscribing and or liking this video. By subscribing to this channel, you really let me know that you are enjoying the content that I'm making and that what I am saying and creating for you is valuable to you. I want to hear from you. Let me know down in the comments below which of all of the Disney parks is your favorite and why. Section 2. Are magic keys worth it? And what people would be best benefiting from purchasing which magic key? Disney's $450 California resident magic key, I don't personally feel like it's worth the cost. And I don't really feel like it's exactly worth it because yes, compared to the other magic keys, the cost is very reasonable. But you still have to make park reservations. You cannot go at the drop of a hat. You're only able to go Monday through Thursday because most Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are blackout days. Not to mention the entire months of June, July, and December are completely blacked out. You cannot make any park reservations or use your pass during that time. One of the major changes that has kind of inspired me to re-record this is that in Disney World, they have since opened it up so that annual pass holders can go in without a park reservation after 2 p.m. If Disneyland does adopt something like this, I feel like this Southern California resident magic key would be a better value. All of that being said, I don't mean to harp on it too hard. If you are a resident, if you work a very flexible schedule, and if you like visiting throughout the week, not on the weekends, but throughout the week, then I feel like this is possibly worth it for you. Although that being said, I would personally rather spend the $250 more and get the Enchant Key instead. The price of the Enchant Key, in my opinion, is worth it if you live nearby, or once again, if you have a very flexible work schedule in which you can travel at the drop of a hat. All of that being said though, with your Enchant Key, you will not be able to visit on any Saturday and most Fridays throughout the year. Much like with the previously mentioned key, the months of June and July are almost completely blacked out, so you will not be able to use your magic key during that time. All of that to kind of wrap it up though, I feel like it's a lot easier to use your magic key 9 times in order to break even on the cost, especially when you have more days that you can visit the parks. With the Enchant Key, you do also get up to 10% off of your dining and shopping, you get 25% off on parking, but you do not get PhotoPass downloads. Although you do get PhotoPass downloads with the Believe Key, which is that second to highest tier. The Believe Key, in my opinion, has a pretty good availability. For $1,099 annually, the availability is much more open than with the Enchant Key. That being said though, don't expect to use your Believe Key during the high peak seasons of spring break. You can't visit on Saturdays throughout the summer, so in July. Also around the time of Christmas and New Year's, there is blackout, so you won't be able to use your pass during that time. I honestly think that the Believe Key is the best value in Magic Key if you can get it once it goes on sale. With your Believe Key, you will get up to 10% off of your dining and shopping. You do get complimentary PhotoPass downloads, which I think is really fun, and you get 20% off of Genie Plus. Compared to the Enchant Key, the Believe Key is quite a bit more expensive, but with the fewer restrictions, I feel like it is worth it. All of that being said though, Disneyland's highest tier premium Inspire Key. Once again, this is the $1,599 annual key. This magic key has the fewest date restrictions. Of course, for nearly $1,600, I would expect that. Really, the only blackout period is that brief time between Christmas and New Year's and then just before Christmas. That's really the only blackout. If you can visit 20 times in a year, it is of course worth it. But really, this is best for people who like visiting during the busy periods of spring break and summer. And also, it is great for people who visit very regularly because with your Inspire Key, you get complimentary parking. You also get up to 20% off of your shopping and up to 15% off of your dining. And then much like with the Believe Key, you do get complimentary PhotoPass downloads and 20% off of your Genie Plus purchase. Depending on your spending and dining choices at Disneyland, you might break even long before the suggested number of visits. And also if you park hop, once again, that will reduce your numbers. But let's be honest, most of us buy annual passes for the admission, and then all the other perks are just that. They're fun little add-ons that help to make the value worth it. But I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just speaking for myself here, but really all of these other things are just little bonuses for having the Magic Key, for having the annual pass. All of that being said, this is my suggestion for a family of 4. If it financially makes sense for your family of 4, I would suggest purchasing one Imagine Key and 3 Believe keys. Or maybe 1 Inspire key and 3 Enchant keys if the blackout dates aren't an issue for you. The reason why, regardless of the setup, I suggest the Inspire key is because the Inspire key has the perk of free parking, which saves you, what, like $20 each visit? And then on top of that, you get your 15% off on dining and 20% off on shopping. I think that the Inspire key may be worth it just for the discounts alone, and then the Believe or Enchant keys will be used just for admission. The price breakdown for this would basically come down to about 15 visits if you have the Inspire key and then the 3 Believe keys, which is that second highest tier. Or if you do the Inspire key and 3 Enchant keys, you only need to do 11 visits to break even. If you do decide to park hop, then you can reduce that number a little bit by about 3 to 4 days. So like 11 days for the Believe keys and 8 days if you get the Enchant keys. Very reasonable, very easy to do. As for myself and which magic key I would purchase the $1,100 Believe key. The reason why I would do this is because, well, for the most part, it's cost. I don't personally drive when I'm in California because I don't want to incur the cost or responsibility of driving in a city that I don't live in. On top of that, I wouldn't need to utilize the parking discounts, and while the discounts of up to 20% is very generous, the cost difference between the Believe key and the Imagine key is about $500. And being that I have to fly from Hawaii all the way to California every time I want to visit Disney, that's essentially the cost of a whole plane ticket when they're on sale. I'm so sorry, my camera just shifted because my dog hit my tripod. Another reason why I would personally choose the Believe key over the Inspire key is because I do typically travel off-peak. And by traveling in off-peak season, it means that I don't need to have the wide availability that the Inspire key has. Another thing I did want to add into this video is that since the time of writing the original script and recording the video originally, I do have an opinion of mine that did change, and this opinion is regarding the Enchant key. I've come to realize that the Enchant key might not actually be as bad of a value as I had originally thought. And when I say bad of a value, I still think that there is value in the Enchant key, but this is why my opinion has changed. When I travel from out of town, I do visit for several days in a row. Typically, I will visit Disneyland for about 3 days. With the Enchant key, that's very easy to do because, once again, I would travel off-peak season. When we factor the cost between the Enchant key and the Believe key, there is about a $400 difference between the two. Before we get any further, I should note that my opinion on the Enchant key changing, it does depend on someone who visits Disneyland like I do. And what I mean by that is someone who will come in from out of town, visit for several days, travel in off-peak seasons, and visits multiple times per year. Typically, I'll visit Disney about 2 times per year, usually once in about the springtime and then once come fall time. Typically. This doesn't always happen, but just throwing it out there. I would also typically visit twice for about 3 to 4 days each visit. With the Enchant key, which is $699, when we factor in that, plus the cost of the 3-day ticket, which comes out to $120 per day, when we break it down like that, the Enchant key for a traveler exactly like myself would only need to visit for 6 days before breaking even on the cost. Of course, I would probably also do a Saturday during my visits, which once again would be about $170 for a Saturday ticket, buying it a la carte. Even factoring in the cost of the Saturday ticket, it would still be cheaper for me to purchase the Enchant key and then 2 $170 Saturday day a la carte tickets. And doing all of that, it'll still be cheaper than purchasing a Believe key. Aside from the blackout periods, the biggest difference financially speaking between the Enchant key and the Believe key is the photo pass downloads and parking. Once again, parking doesn't really affect me because I don't drive when I'm there, but the photo pass downloads are not complimentary with the Enchant key. And then I don't think the Enchant key, I don't believe you can do Genie Plus with that at a discount, but I don't typically purchase Genie Plus when I travel. So really it's a perk that I wouldn't personally use. If it's a perk that you would personally use, and or if you need more flexibility, of course, I still do strongly suggest the Believe key, which is what I purchased. Overall, thank you so much for being here with me, and I hope that you stick with me through my Disneyland adventures. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're a Disney fan like I am, please consider checking out this Disney-related video over here. On top of that, if you want to support this channel, please consider checking out our Depop and eBay pages. They're going to be linked down below. For my eBay page, the listing of the video is for this item right here. This item is a medallion, and it was released as part of the Disney 100 celebration. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.